Hi Gemini, welcome to your love reading for the month of February 2017. We are working with two decks again, but I'm also going to pull some cards from the Romance Angels and some cards from the Messages from your Angels. Before we start the reading, I just wanted to show you a synchronicity that happened when I properly shuffled the decks. Let me show you what's at the bottom of this deck. This came up also for the sign of Libra. You have the Seven of Cups here, and then at the bottom of this deck, you also have the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups does represent sometimes confusion, feeling emotionally overwhelmed, or feeling lost. And like I said, this also happened for the sign of Libra. So if you have a Libra moon or rising, or your partner is a Libra, you might want to watch that reading. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me get these out of the way. And this is going to be for confirmation, so we're going to get to that in a minute. But first, let's get 9 cards for you from this deck. And this is the love reading for the sign of Gemini for February 2017. First card that you have, Gemini, is the Lover's card. Love reading for the sign of Gemini, February 2017. Knight of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Gemini, February 2017. You have the Hierophant. Love reading for the sign of Gemini, February 2017. You have the Five of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Gemini, February 2017. You have the King of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Gemini, February 2017. You have the Devil. Love reading for the sign of Gemini, February 2017. King of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Gemini, February 2017. You have the Ace of Pentacles. Last card, love reading for the sign of Gemini, February 2017. Eight of Pentacles. So the card at the bottom of the deck is going to represent the main energy around your love life for the month of February. And you have the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords can represent that there is a lot going on mentally, that you may need a timeout, you may need to heal. This card can also mean that somebody needs some space, but we'll see how this ties in with the rest of the reading. So let's take it one card at a time. You have the Lovers as your first card. So this is a major arcana. So this represents, for those who are coupled, your relationship. This represents a significant relationship. For those who are single, this can represent your life partner, a very karmic soulmate, a twin flame, a person that is very significant to you, a person that you are in a relationship with for a very long time. Now you also have the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands is that very kind of fiery energy. The Knights represent change and movement. I feel like here somebody is very determined to make something happen when it comes to a relationship. I feel like you're not backing down. Definitely the energy of the Knight of Wands is not backing down. You're refusing to give up when it comes to a relationship. Even for those who are single, you're refusing to throw in the towel. You're refusing to accept that. I feel like you're feeling very optimistic and you're really wanting to see results. You want to find your partner. Now, this could be because of this energy. You have the Hierophant. So this is also a major arcana. And it represents spirit. This represents spirituality. This could represent your angels, your spirit guides, but it's also a message of kindred spirits, people you feel drawn to. So I feel like here somebody is really kind of feeling the pull towards a romantic partner, especially those who are single. I feel like there's a strong attraction. You're drawn to someone that you know is a kindred spirit. This is something that you're feeling intuitively. And I feel like here you're taking action. So for some of you, Those who are single, you may be asking somebody out. You may be initiating this movement that I see here in the Knight of Wands. You're making things happen in your love life. For those who are already coupled, I feel like you're doing everything that you can to create positive movement in your relationship, especially if you're facing a challenge, especially with the main energy being the Four of Swords, which, like I said, sometimes this can mean that a relationship, a couple needs to heal, or somebody's asking for some time apart. Remember, the synchronicity at the beginning of the reading was the Seven of Cups, which has not come up yet, but for Libra, it came up, I think, over here or from the other deck, which that represents a lot of confusion. So I feel like even if you are facing a challenge here where, you have a lot going on mentally, or your partner is needing some space, I feel like you're very determined to keep things going. You're refusing to give up. Now, let's see what we have going on here. You have the Five of Pentacles, the King of Wands, the Devil. Again, these are challenging energies here. I feel like even if you are seeing some challenges around you, Gemini, I feel like you're not letting that bring you down. You're refusing to let that energy destroy your relationship or give up on love. Both of these energies are challenging. The Five of Pentacles represents feeling lonely, feeling isolated, not really feeling a connection with anyone. This is a card of emotional poverty. Over here, let's just jump over to the Devil. A Major Arcana, and this represents sometimes an unhealthy relationship. This represents being really pessimistic, really negative, or maybe, your partner is the one who's become really pessimistic and negative. We do have a Court card here in the middle, and we have the King of Wands. So this would be someone who is a fire sign. So this could be your partner. And definitely, I see something going on in this reading where you might be facing a challenge because of your partner. It could be that your partner is no longer, connecting with you. You feel isolated. You feel like you're not being included. You feel like you're not being appreciated. The Devil can also represent, kind of dense energy, negative energy. It could be that your partner has become really pessimistic about the relationship. Again, going back to the main energy, the Four of Swords, that give me some space, give me some time. The King of Wands, for some of you, I'm getting, even though you are an air sign, the King of Wands can be you, because it is lined up with the Knight of Wands. Like I said, this is very fiery energy, and I feel like even if you are facing something like your partner needing some space or needing time to figure things out mentally, to see how they feel about you, if they want to continue their relationship, the King of Wands is an energy of not backing down. This is very fiery energy. This is taking the lead and making things happen. So I feel like even though you're surrounded by these challenging energies, this card stands out to me. Like, you're not going to let, your partner's, maybe not in a good place right now. You're not going to let that bring you down, and you're not going to let that destroy your relationship. You might have to give someone some space, but I definitely feel like you're holding on. For those who are single, again, you might be feeling, coming into the month of February, especially because it's Valentine's, and that's usually when everyone who's single, if you're happily single, you still feel like, you don't feel so positive on Valentine's Day. So, Five of Pentacles and the Devil, you might be feeling lonely. You might be feeling like it's time to be in a relationship. I've spent enough time on my own. Maybe you have been healing, with the Four of Swords. You've been getting over a past relationship. There's a possibility of you feeling, really pessimistic. I feel like it's a possibility, but I feel like this card definitely overrides it. Like, you definitely want to meet somebody new. You're very persistent when it comes to, for those who are single, I feel like you're being very persistent in the month of February to find somebody to have a romantic relationship with. I'm definitely getting a message, of caution. I feel like those who are single want to be in a relationship, but I feel like you have to be careful who you are allowing into your life. Because I feel like you're just kind of wide open to, whoever you're feeling drawn to. You do have the Hierophant here, but I feel like, you have to be careful. We have Spirit here from the Hierophant. We also have the Devil, which can represent the human ego, which does not, generally follow the direction of Spirit. So I feel like those who are single have to be careful when it comes to pursuing relationships in February. You also have the King of Pentacles. So there is, another person here. This can be those who are coupled. This can be your existing partner, someone who is an earth sign. This person has this energy of a new beginning around them. So those who are already coupled, I feel like, this is a message that you'll be able to heal your differences. Someone may need some, some space, maybe to figure things out. Like I said, you could be feeling that spark is gone. There could be some qualities within your partner where you feel like they're being really pessimistic, really negative. But generally around this earth sign, there is an energy of a new beginning. Kind of a very unexpected new beginning, a blessing. Things changing overnight for you. You do have a message here from the Eight of Pentacles telling you there's a lot of work to do. I think I just put them in the wrong place. I'm not sure. No, I didn't. Okay, so the Eight of Pentacles does represent a lot of work when it comes to a relationship. So those who are already coupled, even if this is not an earth sign, I feel like there's a lot to look at in the relationship. There's a lot to look at, especially with messages like the Five of Pentacles and the Devil. But generally, you have this energy here of a new beginning opening up for you and your partner. Some type of blessing. And for those who are single, like I said, this earth sign comes with some type of new beginning. But again, there's a message here that there is a lot of work to do as far as establishing a relationship with this new person who comes into your life. Okay, so let's see what other messages come up from this deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Gemini for February 2017? You have, there it is, the Seven of Cups. What other messages are there for the sign of Gemini, February 2017? You have the Two of Swords. What other message is there for the sign of Gemini for February 2017? Ten of Swords. Okay. So here it is. I thought it would pop up again because it did for Libra, and here it is. Remember, this card came up for you at the bottom of both decks when I properly shuffled. And so I felt like it was a strong message for you, and then here it is again. So I feel out of this entire reading, this is the most important message for you. And for some of you, it could be that you're confused, that you're lost when it comes to your love life. You do have the Hierophant, which is giving you a spiritual sense of direction. And I say spiritual because if you're going by your ego, which is here, the Devil, you could be misguided when it comes to your next partner. And I see these different, characters in this reading. The King of Pentacles, the King of Wands, for those who are single, even for those who are not. This could represent choosing two different people, two people being in your life, an earth sign and a fire sign. And some of you may feel torn, like you don't know who to choose. For some of you, this is about decisions, but for some of you, this is about being lost on your path when it comes to your love life. But like I said, the Hierophant is guiding you to the partner that you're actually meant to be with, not the partner that your ego is telling you, this is the person for you, this is the person for you, when you actually belong somewhere else. So I feel like you have to be open, especially if the partner that you feel, maybe that your ego feels, is the right person for you. Like you don't see any change and you don't see any movement in that direction. It seems like a dead end, which ironically, it's next to the Two of Swords. This represents a dead end. There's ain't nothing going on with this card at all. This is an impasse, a stalemate. And this represents that you don't want to see this. So, like I said, seeing it next to the Devil really kind of brings this home. So for some of you, there could be, a much better relationship out there for you. I don't know, I just kind of feel like this reading's going all over the place, but these are the messages that are coming through for me. You do have the Lovers and the Hierophant, so there's, a relationship where you're being guided, but not if you're closing yourself off because you're feeling like, no, it's not this person, it's this person, and I don't care what happens, it's this person. You do have very stubborn energy here with the Knight of Wands and the King of Wands, but, with the Two of Swords, you have to make a decision. You have to, otherwise you're not going anywhere. This is the energy of being stuck. And I feel like you're not only stuck mentally, Your love life may be stuck, but you're also, confused, and you're lost with the Seven of Cups. And remember that that card did come up from both decks when I properly shuffled. You have a message here telling you it's time to move on. You have the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is a message that, yes, you were lied to, you maybe were stabbed in the back, you were hurt. It's time to just kind of shake yourself off and walk away. It's time to move on. It's time to move on to a new beginning. After a 10 is an ace, which is a new beginning, and you do have one down here. And for some of you, this may not be easy, considering that you have the Two of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles next to this energy. There's a decision you have to make to move on, to let go. There's a lot of work to do here, but again, with the Two of Swords, if you don't make that decision or take that action, whatever that represents for you, you're stuck when it comes to your love life. And I'm sure that's not what you want to hear, but that's what I see. I apologize for the truck outside. So for those, who are in an existing relationship, it could be that, you don't want to see that, there's way too much going on in a relationship and it's time to move on. This won't apply to everyone, but that is kind of what I see in these three cards. It's time to move on with the Ten of Swords. It's time to move on. And usually when this card comes up, you don't realize, you're not quite picking up on the fact that it's over. And you need to just, move on to the next, lesson, to the next relationship. Here, you don't want to see it, and you're confused. For those who are single, you may just need to let go of the past. And you may kind of be stuck in a cycle right now of pessimism, thinking about an unhealthy relationship. But again, a lot of confusion coming from the Seven of Cups. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to pull some cards from this deck over here. What other messages are there for the sign of Gemini for February 2017? You have Judgment. Love reading for Gemini, February 2017. You have the Knight of Wands again. Love reading for the sign of Gemini, February 2017. You have the Fool. At the bottom of this deck, you have the Hierophant again. So you have two repeating cards. This has, I don't think, I've done quite a few readings, I don't think this has happened where there has been a couple of signs that have had one repeating card, but you have two. So let me talk about those. You have, let's start with the Knight of Wands. This came up for you from this deck, but you already have it over here. So again, this is a strong energy. I feel like you want to see change. Like this is a strong message. You want to see change. You want to see something change in your love life. That's just the message that's coming through. Like you're not taking no for an answer. I just get the message you have to be careful how you go about this, because the Devil is here. Because the Two of Swords is here. And, there's an element of confusion with the Seven of Cups, which did come up from both decks. Here, you're just determined. Whether you're single or you're in a relationship, there's a change that you want to see in your love life, and you're going to do whatever you have to do to make that happen. But I just get the message that you have to be careful how you do that. The other repeating card that you have is the Hierophant. That is already here. So again, you're being guided by spirit. You're being guided to the right person. This is a card also of kindred spirits. You finding where you belong. So even though, you have to make certain decisions, from the Two of Swords that you have to make or you're stuck. And you're also, there's that energy from the Knight of Wands where you're very determined to see change and movement in your love life. Be guided by your intuition and the signs, not by your ego. Because remember, that's going to lead you to a dead end and not so positive energy. So there's a lot of help from spirit when it comes to your love life for those who are single and those who are already in a relationship. So those were the repeating cards. The other message that you have, excuse me, losing my voice, is Judgment. So this is a new beginning for you. This could be, this is a second chance. This sometimes does involve a decision that you have to make in order to have that new beginning. For those who are already in an existing relationship, This could mean, that you're able to try again. There's a lot of help from spirit for those who belong together, those who are truly, soulmates, those who are truly kindred spirits. A new beginning. You also have a new beginning here with the Ace of Pentacles. And like I said, you have this very kind of fiery combination here from the Knight of Wands and the King of Wands. This is telling you that you can be happy again. You can find a relationship, or you can heal a relationship. This represents a second chance. Now this came out with the Knight of Wands. Again, I already talked about this card. Change and movement, and being very determined to see these changes, to make these changes happen. So I feel like you're definitely motivated. Now, I just noticed another synchronicity here. The Fool. This represents a new beginning. So new beginning, and you being very motivated to see this happen. The Fool does represent, something new coming into your life, a new person, or a new phase in your relationship. But this requires a leap of faith. This requires you taking a risk. For some of you, this, the risk that you're taking could be that you're having faith. Remember that the main message from this deck was the Four of Swords, which represents, could be giving someone some space, some time to figure things out mentally, or it could be you. So you may have to take a risk in order to have a second chance in a new beginning in an existing relationship. You may have to take a risk in letting somebody go for now, and they will come back to you. Now, that's not going to apply to everyone, but that's just something that comes through. For those who are single, this new beginning could just be that you're trusting again, especially after the energies, that I see over here, and the Devil being here, and the Five of Pentacles. This could be that, you can't keep holding on to the idea that you're going to be betrayed, you're going to be lied to, you're going to be cheated on. This represents taking, a giant leap of faith, possibly with somebody new coming into your life. And like I said, there could be, for those who are single, there could be more than one person, because I see an earth sign and a fire sign. Okay, so let me get some cards for you from the Romance Angels. At the bottom of this deck, just to show you, is engagement. Okay, what other messages are there for the sign of Gemini for February 2017? Make the effort. And it says, great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. Yeah, so for those who are single, this definitely applies. Remember, you have the Fool telling you that you have to take a leap of faith. You have to risk something in order to have that new beginning. For those who are single, this just means that you're not hiding away, that you're not pining over someone that's not there anymore, something that ended. Time to move on, time to let it go. That's the energy of the Ten of Swords. Make the effort to meet somebody new. For those who are already coupled, this can be make the effort to understand your partner, make the effort to compromise, make the effort to accept whatever it is that they, if they may need some space and some time to figure things out. It just means that you're honoring their wishes. I feel like here, for some of you, those who are coupled, this could mean compromising. Okay, so let me get some more cards. I'll try to pull as many as I can from both decks for you, at least 3. What other message is there for the sign of Gemini for February 2017? You have children. And it says your love life is being affected by children. So this card has come up from this deck and also from the messages from your angels for a lot of the other signs. And for some of you, let me see what I'm getting from this. Yeah, I definitely feel like for those who are already coupled, like you're thinking about your children. You're thinking, especially with an energy like this being in the reading, where somebody needs some space and some time, a relationship needs to heal. I feel like you may be thinking about how this is going to affect your children. But remember, your children are safe and provided for. For those who are single, this could be, a wake-up call for you. That it's time to move on. It's time to have a committed relationship. It's time to start a family. You have a lot of new beginnings in this reading. So for some of you, you might be feeling, that pull from spirit with the Hierophant being here 2 times. to get back out there and be in, look for a romantic partner. And it could be that you're meant to, to have more children. For those who have never had children, it's your time to have a family. Okay, let's get one more. What other message? Oh, okay. You have healing family issues, and it says your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. So for some of you, yes, this could have something to do. There could be a lot of issues. I mean, I definitely see some conflicting energies in this reading. The Five of Pentacles and the Devil, Two of Swords, the Seven of Cups. There could be some healing that has to happen, and also, the Four of Swords, the main energy. It's time to heal family issues, but I feel like instead of your parents, that could apply to someone out there, where some of these problems are coming up because of family issues growing up. But I definitely feel that this means that it's time to heal existing problems within your family, with your partner. It's time for you, remember the message over here, make the effort. Be willing to compromise. Be willing to listen to their side of the story. Okay, so let me see how many cards I can pull for you from the messages from your angels. What other messages are there for the sign of Gemini? For February 2017. You have Indriel. And she says, you are a light worker. God needs you to shine your divine light and love like an angel upon the earth and all of its inhabitants. So I definitely feel like this goes with the energy of the Hierophant. Remember that you have the Hierophant here 2 times. Where is it? It was from at the bottom of the other deck. You have the Hierophant here, and you already had it over here. So I feel like this card represents, obviously, spirituality and divine guidance. And I feel like this is kind of, guiding you as far as what decisions you have to make in your love life. I feel like this especially applies to those who are single, where you're being guided to the right person for you. I'm going back. This also is a message for those who are already coupled. They're asking you to bring more light into the relationship. This goes back to this message over here of making the effort. For some of you, you may be facing a lot of challenges with your current partner, where if you're watching this video, then more than likely you are the light worker. So you're the one who can be the bigger person. You're the one that can look at things from a higher perspective. This means you're not giving in. You're not being sucked in by this negativity from the Devil or the Five of Pentacles. So this is asking you to stay in a healthy place, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. Okay, let's see what other messages come up for you. What other message is there for the sign of Gemini for February 2017? You have Rochelle, and she says, as you honor and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you now. So yep, that's exactly what I just said. The Hierophant. You have a lot of guidance telling you, for those who are coupled, is this relationship going to work? And if you definitely feel like this person, this is it, this person is my life partner, and all the signs point you in that direction, then you know exactly what to do. For those who are single, there's people coming into your life in the month of February, and I feel like there could be more than one, because you have, the King of Pentacles, the King of Wands, and then the Seven of Cups with that synchronicity being at the bottom of the deck. That you just need to follow your heart as far as, who is the one. For those who are single, there could be more than one where you're torn and you're confused. So they're just asking you to follow what your intuition is telling you through your heart. Listen to those feelings. Okay, so let's get one more. What additional message is there for the sign of Gemini for February 2017? And you have patience. And the card says, now is the time to learn, study, and gather information. Enjoy being a student, because in the future you will synthesize your knowledge into action. So yeah, this card is telling you that there's still a lot to learn. For those who are single, I feel like you don't have to beat yourself up over still being single. I feel like much more will be revealed to you. The card says enjoy being a student, but I feel like it also means enjoy being single. I feel like things will begin to fall together for you. The pieces of the puzzle will fall together, with the Hierophant being here 2 times as far as where you belong. For those who are in a relationship, I feel like, there could be something you have to see about the relationship. There's something that you need to see with the 2 of Swords here. And this is going to help you to heal the relationship and stay together. Okay, Gemini, this has been your love reading for the month of February 2017. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will speak to you again next month.